Hi guys, welcome to my channel here EJ TV. Please follow me for more upcoming videos and click the button subscribe. Today's topic is a beer training. What is beer? What is in the beer? How beer is made? Style of beers. Top popular beer by countries, popular and top in the market. At the ending of this video, it will show what is the next upcoming beer training. So let's start. What is beer? Century-old process of converting sugar water to fermented liquid. Some of the oldest recipes ever found have been beer recipes. Beer was a necessity in ancient times. Beer is the result of using grain and water to make an alcoholic beverage. Styles vary depending on the type of grain used, the level of toasting of the grain, and the type of yeast used. What's in the beer? First ingredients are barley, the body and soul of beer; yeast, the life of beer; hops, the spice of beer; water, the integrity and purity of beer; adjuncts, additive grains like rice or corn, fruits or spice. Barley, body and soul. Barley malt gives beer natural enzymes to convert starch to sugar needed for fermentation. Malt is sweet flavor, color, foamy head. 2 and 6 rows barley malt are used in the brewing process. Variety of barley malt helps determine the color, texture, and flavor of beer. The key ingredients to making any beer is barley, while other grains can be utilized in the process. Barley has special properties that make it necessary ingredients. Barley contains up to 80% of starch reserve, and some call these days that can convert those starch reserve into fermentable sugar. Not all barley is created equal. There are two types of barley, 2-row and 6-row, named for how the kernel form on the stalk. The 2-row barley is grown in cooler climates and is softer barley than 6-row, while 2-row is purp barley of small brewers and traditionalists. 6-row is the barley of choice for many commercial brewers. Barley serves as the source of sugar for fermentation, but it must go through a conversion process for the sugar to be accessible. In the barley kernel, the main ingredient is starch, which yeast cannot digest. The conversion process is called malting. The malting process, in order to get the barley starch converted to sugar, the grain must become malt. The first step involves steeping on the grain in water. The grain absorb water until they reach about 40 to 45% moisture content, which allow the grain to begin germinating. The barley kernels are drained and brought to the molding floor, where they are allowed to sprout, which activates the enzyme Yeast. The enzyme begins a conversion of starch into sugar, presumably so the new sprout can grow. After about 5 days, the germination process is arrested by drying the sprouting kernel before the starch can be consumed depending on the temperature at which barley is dried. The esters may or may not remain active. Yeast, life of beer. Yeast is the catalyst of change. One cell microorganisms produce carbon dioxide and alcohol. Two types of yeast are used to produce beer. Ale is the top fermenting, lager is the bottom fermenting. There are literally thousands of brewery yeast that can create a variety of beer styles. Yeast beer is brewed with one of two strains of Saccharomyces. The yeast strain with the longest history in Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This is the same yeast that is used in wine making. This yeast ferments best at warmer temperature and forms a floating cup of foam on top of a fermentation vessel. The resulting style of beer that is produced is ale. Ales have a fruitier flavor profile and have a creamy soft carbonation. Hops, spice of beer. Hops flower are used to microbial stabilization. Hops have antiseptic qualities. Hop aroma fruity flowery characteristic. Bitterness, balance, malt, sweetness, foaming stabilization, and enhanced head properties. There are two primary hop styles: aroma hops, bitter hops. Hops are grown around the world between 35 and 55 degrees of latitude and harvest in fall. The main flavoring ingredients for beer is hops. Historically, many different items have been used to flavor and help preserve beer. Some items, such as ginger, wormwood, cinnamon, and others, can be found in some specialty beers. However, these items have lost ground in the last couple of centuries because of the ease of the cultivation and usage of hops. Hops are used to add bitterness, tannins, and aroma to the beer. These attributes come from the oils found inside the hops flower. Once that insoluble oils provide bitterness to beer. More soluble oils provide aromatic, and it's not uncommon for a brewer to use more than type of hops in order to achieve the balance of aroma and bitterness that they desire. Cascade all-purpose hops variety from Washington State's struggle and use British-style brewers along with Ken Colding's hotelier such as Eastern European hops, noted for their aromatics. Water, integrity and purity. Water's role in beer. Water makes up 92% of beer. Through filtration or boiling, impurities, aromas, and flavor difference can be mitigated. Water styles can affect flavor. Hard water and soft water help increase cleanliness, add smoothness for the soft water. Every brewery is found on the search of their water, and major marketing point for even large commercial breweries. Water seems like it will just be a neutral base, and that will not have much of an effort effect on a beer. However, the dissolved minerals in the water will affect the final taste. Soft water makes the softest, mouth-filling beers, and is typical for lager-style beers. More full-body ales use hard water or high mineral content. Brewers may alter the mineral content of their water if it does not meet requirements of the style of beer they are making to make a pale ale similar to Bass ale. Breweries will add salt to their water to increase the mineral content close to what in the water for Bass. Adjuncts to wildcard. Adjuncts are added to change the flavor, character, or profile of beer. Used to supplement main starch source to provide better foam retention. Color or aroma adjuncts fall in two categories: grains, corn, rice, wheat, also rye. Specialty ingredients: sweet, honey or maple, fruits, raspberry, cherry or cranberry, spice, cinnamon, coriander or cloves. Sometimes styles of beer are used other grains in addition to malted barley. Wheat is a common added in Europe. In Germany, the wheat is malted before its use, while barley unmalted wheat is preferred. The use of wheat changes the flavor and the color of the beer. Large-scale commercial breweries also use adjuncts, but for different reasons. The most common adjuncts are rice and corn. Both of these are cheaper than barley, and they do not provide any additional flavor to the beer. Instead, they are there to provide starch that will convert to sugar. The use of adjuncts allows the beer to achieve the desired alcohol content while keeping the flavor profile light. Corn and rice are merely steamed before use, not malted. These also keep the flavor neutral. Beer process. Beer brewing, the malt when in grease, water, to mash tun to copper to heat exchanger, fermentation tanks, condition tanks. The basic procedure for brewing beer. How beer is made. There are five major steps, which is I mentioned already. The first is conversion. The malting process described above. While conversion is an important step in the process, most brewers start with grains that have already been malted. Even if the malt contains plenty of sugar, it's not liquid that makes beverage. The process to get the sugar into water is called extraction. The malt is coarsely ground into what kind known grease. The grease and water combine in a mash tun and a large copper vessel that will stir the mix and also control temperature of the mix. Temperature control is important, typically starting around 120 Fahrenheit, 49 Fahrenheit, and eventually ending 160 Fahrenheit, 71 degrees Celsius. The combination of temperature and agitation extracts the sugar and starch out of the grease. The temperature is also held in the range where the esters works quickly. This is the starch extracted from the grease. It is quickly converted into sugar. After the extraction, the liquid now called wort is transferred to a copper vessel, which will be boiled. The spent grease sometimes washed to remove any remaining starch and sugar in a process called sponging. The washed liquid is added to the wort and the sweet liquid is boiled for up to 2 hours. Boiling the wort deactivates the enzyme and also helps to dissipate proteins and other impurities that would cloud the final beer. It is during the boiling period that the first addition of hops occur. This is called flavoring. The hops added this time provide bitterness to the final beer. Any aromatics from the hops will boil away in the 2 hour period. This will be added later. The wort must be cooled before the next step, fermentation. The cooled wort is input in a fermentation vessel and fermentation begins with pitching the yeast or adding it into the wort. The fermentation of an ale will take 3 to 7 days depending on the temperature and the amount of sugar present. Lagers fermented at lower temperature ferment for 2 weeks toward the end of the fermentation. The second addition of hops occurs. This is called dry hopping and infuse the beer with aromatic components of the flowers. The last step, conditioning, varies between ales and lagers. Ales are placed in the conditioning vessel or cask and sit for a few days. This allowed carbonation to develop and any remaining yeast to precipitate from the beer. Lagers are stored for 2 to 4 weeks at 32 Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, which is not only clarifies the beers but also develop a crisp, sparkling carbonation. Styles of beer. On our next videos, we're gonna put the styles of beers, and now I'm just gonna read for you what is the styles of beers: ales, pale ale, India pale ale, brown ale, Trappist ale, Dortmunder export, Marzen or Vienna style lagers, Bach, Lambics, Hughes, Pilsner, root beers, wheat beer, stout and porter, and of course, everybody likes lagers. What is lager? Lager means to soak bottom or fermenting yeast ferment at lower temperature. Lager close to freezing for several weeks, characterized by a crisp, tasting like a body and less fruit aroma. Rounded, smooth beer. Over the last 150 years or so, lagers have become the predominant beers. What is an ale? Ale is synonymous for beer, tap fermenting yeast, fermented at high temperature 64 degree to 72 degree, ferments less fully and less discriminately, characterized by more fruity flavors and aromas with a multi full body flavor. Prior to the 1800s, ales were almost universal. Bottled beer, those and those. And I have so many videos will be coming up, those and those about the beer. Always pour bottle into glass. Drinking from the bottle traps carbonation and flavor which can leave you feeling bloated. Pouring to glass release carbonation and flavor and aroma of the beer. Pour beer down the center of glass to release carbonation and flavor. Pouring down the side of the glass minimize foam and traps carbonation, leaving the beer flat looking and grassy tasting. So there's so many ways of doing it. Depends of the region, countries, following the SOP. So there's so many style of doing and not doing this. Top popular beer by countries: Carlsberg from Denmark, Guinness from Ireland, Tiger from Singapore, Budweiser from United States of America, Heineken from Netherlands, of course, very popular. Corona, which is everyone knows, from Mexico. Garden from Belgium, the white beer. Asahi, which is made from rice. In Japan. Heineken, Ireland. Paulaner from Germany. So this previous, which is popular beer and tap in the market. So if you watch this video, you can see your face, which beers, if it's correct, please let me know. Okay, but mostly everything was here already. Okay, let's drink. Thank you for watching every video. If you like the video and if you want to follow for more videos, please subscribe, share, and like the video. Next upload will be styles of beer, storage and service of beer, beer service and service temperature, beer glasses, proper pouring of beer. So thank you again for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and share and like. Thank you.